Hi, very good afternoon to you. In today's video, I want to talk about the importance of developing critical thinking skills. My name is Darren and I'm the English tutor from EnglishTuition.org. Now, in the course of my work, when I work with students, I need to teach them how to write good essays, how to write quality essays that eventually will be able to help them to get a good grade in school. And one of the challenges that I've encountered is that sometimes students, they come back to me and then they have a question or they have an essay question that was given to them by the school, but they do not know what to do with it, right? And in the O-level syllabus, in paper 1 itself, students are given a total of 4 questions to choose from. And the 4 questions can be a mix of personal recounts, discursive essays or exposition essays, and there could be essays that require students to list and discuss the advantages and the disadvantages of certain topics. And one of the most challenging questions that students can get are actually argumentative essays. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I have with me here the 10-year series for the O-level syllabus, and I'm just going to flip to a random year and see if I can give you a good example of the type of questions that O-level students will get. Okay, this is a question from year 2014, paper 1. Which features of Singapore and its citizens make it a major tourist attraction for people from all over the world? This is kind of a descriptive essay. Does not really require much critical thinking skills, but it does require the students to be able to describe imagery very well, and because you want to recommend and highlight those features of Singapore to tourists. Let's choose another one and see if I can find a better example. Alright, this question is from the year 2013. Parents often believe that it is better to be safe than sorry. Do you consider young people to be too protected? This ties in with one of the videos that I've uploaded to my YouTube channel. I will try to leave a link in this video, and then you can check it out later if you want. That is where I see the value of the videos, right? The content. And I always encourage students to start to think about these issues before they get hit by the questions in the actual O-level exams. This question is from the year 2012. The use of motor cars is the greatest threat to the environment. Do you agree? So this is an argumentative essay, requires a certain level of critical thinking skills, and it certainly helps if the student is already familiar with environmental threats and how the automotive industry contributes to the harmful effects of the environment. Now, the final example I have for you here, this is actually one of the most challenging questions that I've seen in the O-level syllabus. To what extent do you agree with the idea that some teenagers lead an unhealthy lifestyle? Give reasons for your views. So instead of getting the usual question, do you agree, where you are required to take a stand, this question actually asks you, to what extent do you agree? So it's not enough. It's not sufficient to be barely stating in your essay that, I agree or I do not agree with this statement. You have to describe or specify to what extent do you agree. Now, obviously, this requires the student to have very good knowledge about health, about lifestyle in general, right? And again, this ties in with some of the content that I put out there regarding health and energy management, stress management. So hopefully all these videos will contribute to the knowledge of the students, and they will find that when they go and sit for the O-level exams, they already have some background knowledge about the topics that they are going to write about, and they won't feel so unprepared. Now I want to move on to take a look at what some of the A-level students have to cope with, right, in their essay writing. So I have here a couple of assessment books that contain some of the past year papers from the A-levels general paper. And for the general paper, the format is slightly different. O-level students only have 4 questions to choose from. So if you run out of options, then you're out of luck, right? Fortunately, for the A-level general paper, students are presented with a buffet of questions. They have up to 12 questions to choose from. Now, these 12 questions can come from a variety of topics, and I'll just read off some topics from this assessment book. Right? It can be social economic issues, something to do with our economy. It can be history. It can be politics, government, and international relations. Crime and punishment, okay, very popular topic. Philosophy, censorship, and mass media. Okay, science and technology. Science versus religion, another very interesting topic. Education and maths. Arts, literature, and language. Topics of local interest and global concern, and finally lifestyle and sports. So a student does not necessarily have to master all the topics in order to do well in the general paper exam. But out of the 12 questions, ideally there should be at least 2 or 3 areas that the student should be particularly familiar with, because out of the 12 questions they only need to choose one. And it helps if they have some backup, right? If you only know one topic very well, for example, you're an expert at science and technology, and you're hoping that the question will be an easy one for you. So what happens if during the actual exam itself, then you find that there's no science and technology question, or even worse, there is such a question, but it is too difficult for you. Then you do not have a backup, right? Because there are the other topics you're not familiar with. So I always encourage students, don't just read in with tunnel vision. Read widely, okay, and at least have 3 or 4 topics that you are very knowledgeable about. So when it comes to tackling the A-level general paper, you have more ammunition and then you can generate the content more easily. Now let's take a look at some of the actual questions that our A-level students have to contend with. This is from 2016. Evaluates the claim that equality of opportunity for females is a desirable but unrealistic goal. So this question asks the student to evaluate this statement, right? That equality of opportunity for females is a desirable but unrealistic goal. And we're talking about gender equality here, right? And this type of topics requires the student to think in advance about the topic. And ideally, the student must be able to think on the spot and give his or her own opinions. Now, when I teach secondary school students, I don't just teach them to learn the language, memorize the phrases, memorize the sentences, and then just regurgitate the content during the exam. I really want them to learn how to think. So for some of the older students, I encourage them to take the time to work on their own personal beliefs. In other words, think about what is valuable to them, okay, what ideas that they value more than others. So when they work on their own personal values and their personal beliefs, then when they are presented with a statement or with certain ideas, they will be able to make better decisions and better judgment calls about those ideas, and in turn be able to write out higher quality content. Politics, government, and international relations. How far is it possible for one country to forgive another for its past actions? 2015. The world would be a better place if more political leaders were women. What is your view? 2013. Okay, another gender-based question. Crime and punishment. To what extent is it possible to make the punishment fit the crime? 2013. Is violence ever justified? 2012. So as you can see, I'm not going to bore you with by reading you all the questions from the assessment books, but you can easily see that some of these questions can be rather challenging. Okay, and it takes time for a student to develop the maturity to be able to tackle this sort of questions. Do not wait until they are very late in the game, right? They are ready in A-levels to even start considering this issue, because the earlier you start, the more time you allow for the thoughts of the child to mature. So by the time they get to A-levels, okay, they are already very highly aware of their own personal beliefs. They know which side they are on. They know how to take stands. They know how to make compelling arguments. They know how to rebut the arguments. And in general, they know how to present a more balanced essay. The purpose of education itself is not just the paper chase. Ultimately, I think parents should also try to give some thought into the future of the child, into some career possibilities that are available in our current society and economy that maybe is a good fit for their children. And to sum up this video, I guess what I want to say is that the soft skills are especially important in today's day and age. I think that's what employers are looking for as well. And I don't think it is enough to just be very good at maths and science, because a lot of the calculations, knowledge-based things, computers are better at storing information and doing calculations, right? At the end of the day, it is the soft skills that employers may be looking out for. We want students to develop the habit of thinking critically. Okay, we present a scenario or situation to them, or we present some information to the student. Is the student able to take the information, digest it, analyze it, evaluate it, at the end come up with some kind of intelligent conclusion for himself or herself? Let me know what you think about critical thinking and employability in the comment section below. And if you would like to participate in future discussions just like this one, just head on to my YouTube channel, subscribe to the channel, or follow us on our Facebook page. Give it a thumbs up or a dislike if you hate the video, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.